Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Virginia, and today I have some DIY Christmas ornaments to share with you. I have 10 brand new ones for this year, and then I'm going to show you some of my favorites from years past. Starting off with a very simple popsicle ornament, I'm going to show you how to make this nutcracker. I felt like I was back in school with this at Arts and Crafts because I'm using popsicle sticks, which I have not used in a really long time for crafting. I'm going to use two of these larger ones, then you see me kind of go back and forth on what I decided to do for the smaller ones. If you had a little bit skinnier and shorter popsicle sticks, that would be perfect. I didn't want to run out to the store to get new ones, so I just ended up using my miter shears to cut those bigger popsicle sticks in half. But again, if you have the smaller, skinnier ones, that would be perfect. I have 2 that I'm laying out for my nutcracker's arms, 3 for more of his jacket, and then 3 which are going to go on top for the beard and face. So that's the general layout that you're going to need from your popsicle sticks. And then I just grabbed my hot glue gun and I'm starting to hot glue everything together, starting with those 2 popsicle sticks again on the side for the arms. Then I'm putting the 3 down. It'll be the bottom area kind of his beard and his face and where his jacket would be. And then I ended up taking the 3 top halves for his head and kind of the blunt flat area I did for the top of the head so that I have that curved popsicle stick area for the beard. But again, if you're using the smaller popsicle sticks, then it'll be curved the entire way around, which I think looks nicer, but I had to make do with what I had. The next part is entirely up to you and your own creativity. You can start to paint your nutcracker however that you like. I went pretty classic with gold, red, and white. I didn't want to bore you guys too much with a painting tutorial because I know that's a common comment that I get on here is that people don't want to watch a painting, which I totally get, but I did want to show you how I did his eyes. I just did them basically as U's or kind of like moons and then a very small nose because I will be going in with my little daughter tool that you see me using here and some white paint to add in his eyebrows and a mustache. And any nutcracker is not complete until you add on their little fuzzy accessory, in this case kind of his hair, which is jutting out behind him. And I used an old sweater for this. I actually used it when I did gnomes back in the day, so I had this laying in my craft stash and thought it was perfect to add a little bit of floof to my nutcracker. Kind of going along with the nutcracker, we're moving into a little bit of the sugar plum fairy ornaments. I decided to make either a lollipop. I thought it looked more like a cake pop, and it is so easy to do, and I think it came out really cute. These clear ornaments I picked up for Halloween when I did my bubbling cauldron DIY, and I have tons left over. So I took the color Crimson by Waverly and painted the inside of the ornament. That way I didn't have to worry about a mess. Once it was dry, I put the ornament back together, and it already has the little ornament holder for me, so I decided to use some red and white twine or jute, which I got this huge roll from the Dollar Tree. Very good deal. So when you see them, pick them up because I know around the holidays they'll sell smaller packets of them, but if you ever see the twine or, the jute, the different striped ones, definitely pick them up because it's a good deal. For the cake pop holder, I used a paper straw that I actually picked up off of Amazon way back last February when I did my Valentine's Day crafts. I added a red and white striped bow that I got in a pack at Dollar Tree, and to really make it look like a cake pop, I picked up some of these faux sprinkles. They're clay polymer sprinkles that you can get off Amazon. I'll have them linked down below. I put down a little bit of Mod Podge. Don't worry, it will dry clear. And then sprinkled on my faux sprinkles. I did the front area first, and then once that was all dried, I did the back. And as you can see, it dries completely clear and adds the perfect finishing touch on my cake pop ornament. Keeping with the sweets theme, I will show you how to make this lollipop ornament. It's really easy to do. The only hard part is that it takes a little bit of time to wind all of the twine, but don't worry, I'll show you exactly how to do it. I cut out a circle from some heavy duty cardstock that I have. It's about 2.5 inches wide. And after I cut that out, I laid down a little bit of Mod Podge. I didn't have any liquid or Elmer's glue, but you could use that too. And then using the same red and white twine that we used to hang up our previous ornament, we are just going to be wrapping this all the way around our cardstock. It's really easy, but it is a little bit time consuming, especially when you're using Mod Podge. It can get a little sticky. So I did this in different increments just so I wouldn't get too frustrated with the twine not sticking. And once you have completely covered the circumference of your circle, I hot glued a paper straw to the back. And I have a lot of these plastic bags because I sell items on Etsy. If you haven't checked out my Etsy shop, I will have it linked down below. So I already had some of this, but I know you could use a lunch bag, a sandwich bag, or some cellophane. And then I wrapped this like it was a real lollipop. I used some white yarn that I had in my craft room to tie the lollipop at the base of it and also as the ornament hanger. I absolutely love making faux sweets for the Christmas season. I did a whole video on it last year. I'll have it linked up above. If you all are new to my channel, you might not know, but I'm getting married in just a couple weeks here. And I thought that this ornament was the perfect way to commemorate my invitations. But if you're not getting married, you could do this for either someone else with their invitation, for a baby shower, bridal shower, graduation, really any sort of important milestone in your life, you can turn into an ornament. I cut my invitation into really tiny strips using my paper trimmer, and then I just started twirling them around a colored pencil until I had all of the pieces all swirled about. The Dollar Tree sells these large clear ornaments, which are great for a huge variety of different crafts, but in this case, it was perfect to hold my cut scraps of my invitation. I just started sticking down the swirled invitation bits in there, kind of shaking the ornament every once in a while, just to make sure that all of them fit. If you have a Cricut machine or even using some numbered stickers, you could put the date of your wedding, the date of whatever special occasion you're commemorating, but I really liked it just plain. Next, I'm going to move into some super quick and easy ornaments that are more on the cutesy side. I have gingerbread men and lots of snowman ornaments. For this first one, I'm using 3 of the, I call them Jenga blocks, but they're really called the tumbling tower blocks from Dollar Tree. And I'm hot gluing 3 of those together. And again, using that red and white twine on the back, which is going to be our ornament hanger. Then I grabbed a damp napkin and my stain. My go-to stain that I use is Antique. That's the name of the color, and it's by Waverly. And I just covered my Jenga blocks completely. Then the Dollar Tree sells adorable little wood pieces. They have snowmen and gingerbread men and snowflakes. So I grabbed one of the gingerbread men and I painted it brown, and then using my detailer tool, which the Dollar Tree does sell a version of this in the Crafter Square section. I just used that small tool to add all the little details to my gingerbread men, like his face and his icing and buttons. And the last step is to hot glue him onto our Jenga blocks. Moving on into our snowman ornaments. The first one is another easy one. They're really all easy, so I gotta stop saying that. But this one uses minimal supplies and stuff that you might already have. If you're a subscriber or a loyal watcher, you already know I absolutely love these wood ornaments that you can find in the Crafter Square section. They are great for so many DIYs, this one included. I started to create my snowman. I painted the wood sphere white. I added the nose and the smile. Then, using an old sock, I wanted to make a hat. I thought I was going to use the foot portion, but it was too big, so I ended up using more where it is going to be on your ankle. That was a little bit tighter. So I placed that over our wood ornament, and then using some string, I just tied it up at the top, and you can already see our hat is starting to take shape. I trimmed it off just a little bit, and then once I had the hat in place, I was able to finally add in the eyes. I just used a Sharpie for the mouth and the eyes. And final touches, I added a jingle bell to the top area of our snowman's hat, and then I went in with a bit of brown paint and just kind of dirtied up the ornament a little bit so it gave it more of that rustic touch. In the fall, one of my favorite DIYs was a mason jar lid pumpkin, and now that it's entering into the Christmas season, I wanted to repurpose that DIY to make a couple ornaments, and mason jar lids are the perfect item to create some ornaments. I started off by tracing the lid onto some craft paper and then cutting that circle out. This way it will fit perfectly inside of our lid. Next was pretty easy. I did have to use a little bit of hot glue around the corner areas. I'm just wrapping yarn all the way around our cardstock circle. Once I had the cardstock circle completely covered with the yarn, I popped it in the back of the mason jar lid, cut off any of the excess, and just hot glued the sides down into the lid. That way it wouldn't be popping out. Next, I grabbed some of this checkered ribbon that I had and some jute and made a quick little bow to add on top of our snowman. It'll be a little snowman girl, a snow girl, I guess we'll call her. And then it was a little bit hard to figure out where I wanted the snowman eyes and mouth to be since it was on yarn. So I started off by just using a Sharpie, and then I don't have an orange Sharpie, so I did just go straight in with paint. Then over the Sharpie marks, I went in with a smaller detail brush and some black paint, just because the Sharpie wasn't really coming out quite as dark as I wanted. And here is the completed ornament. You could also use brown yarn to make a version of this into a gingerbread man or Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. For the next ornament, I stepped outside of my comfort zone a little bit. I don't do too much decoupaging on my channel. I did do an entire video last Christmas. I'll have it linked up above, but it's not something that I consider my strong point, but I thought it'd be fun if we tried something a little bit different. So I picked up some napkins from the Dollar Tree as well as this ornament. It's more of a flat oval shape than the circular clear ornament that we used in the wedding invitation. So for this, I cut out my section of the snowman napkin that I wanted to use, and I removed the second ply from it. So we're working with the thin part of the napkin. Then I added some Mod Podge on the back of the ornament and just gently pressed the napkin down. I cut around any of the excess, and again, trying very gently so I didn't rip any of the napkin, to just kind of press it down with the Mod Podge. Then I let this dry for a little bit before going back in with some more Mod Podge, and I call it fake snow / glitter. It's like glitter snow. And I picked this up at the Dollar Tree last year. They have it pretty much every year. I usually get a new bag, and I covered all around the edges of our ornament, and I filled up the bottom of it so it really looked like our snowman was hanging out in the snowfall. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any decoupaging tips and tricks. I'm always looking for advice. In the next ornament DIY, I'm actually taking 2 wood ornaments from the Halloween season. They were available at Dollar Tree. So if you head to your Dollar Tree now, they might still have them up. I'm using the witch's hat and the ghost wood cutouts. For the witch's hat, I had some holly paper, so I just traced the witch's hat onto some of that scrapbooking paper, and then because I already had my hot glue out, I figured I would just adhere it with that. Usually I would use Mod Podge or even a glue stick, but it was all ready to go, so I just used that, and then I also adhered a little jingle bell to the end of the hat. Because these are already wood ornaments, they do have the little hole that you can string through your ornament hanger, but the scrapbooking paper covered that, so I just used a pen to poke through that hole again through the paper and added a little bit of jute on. Then to make the beard, it's going to be the bottom of our ghost, so I hot glued that on to the hat. And you could probably do this step first, but I kind of forgot to, so then I ended up painting the ghost after I was already done hot gluing. For the gnome nose, I took a wood bead that I already had and painted it a pink color so it looked like a rosy nose, and hot glued that down. I really love how this DIY came out. I don't do as much gnome stuff anymore, but this made me nostalgic for the gnomes. Let me know in the comments down below if you're still into the holiday gnomes. The last new Christmas ornament DIY is a snowflake snowman, and it is so easy to do. I picked up this gorgeous ornament from the Dollar Tree and also these wood star ornaments from Hobby Lobby when they were having their 40% off all Christmas DIY craft supply materials. And then I just grabbed my hot glue and I'm adhering the snowflake ornament onto the wood star. The tea light is going to be the snowman face, where the faux flame is going to be his nose. I just used a Sharpie to draw on the face, and because this is not a remote controlled tea light, it has an on and off switch, I just put a glue dot on the back so I can easily remove it to turn it on and off. These next 10 DIY ornaments are my absolute favorites from last year, so if you saw them before, let me know in the comments down below which one was your favorite. First up, we are going with the Grinch, and I used 2 Halloween cutout ornaments to make this. I used the witch's hat and the ghost. I painted the ghost green, that is going to be our Grinch face, and then the hat, I just used some Christmas colors, white around the bottom of it and red on top. I also grabbed a white pom-pom that I had and hot glued that to the end of the witch's hat, which has now been turned into our Santa Grinch hat. But before I added the pom-pom, I needed to make a Grinch nose. So I grabbed some of this garland that the Dollar Tree currently has. It has these bells on it, red and green, and I thought the green one was perfect. I wish it would have been a tiny bit bigger, but the green color I couldn't pass up on, so I placed that where the ghost and the witch's hat meet to be our Grinch nose. To add a little bit of definition to this ornament, I grabbed my white paint pen marker that I grabbed in the Dollar Tree Crafters Square section, and I'm just going around our Grinch ornament and outlining it. Then for the Grinch's smile, I grabbed a Sharpie instead of black paint. I thought it would be easier to work with, and it definitely was, to create kind of a mischievous smile for our Grinch. To finish off our Grinch ornament, we needed to add an ornament hanger. So I chose this red and white baker's twine from the Dollar Tree. It's a really great deal. You get a very large spool of it, and I'm going to be using it for a couple of the ornaments in today's video. I also went back over our outline that we made earlier a second time just to make it a little bit brighter. For the next ornament, we're stepping into the sugary sweet world of Christmas desserts by making a hot cocoa mug ornament, complete with our very own gingerbread girl hanging out in the foam. To do this, I used some of the wood ornaments as well as wood cutouts from Dollar Tree, a gingerbread man, which I turned into a gingerbread girl, a snowflake wood cutout, as well as these mugs that came in an ornament pack from the Dollar Tree. I painted them all accordingly and then hot glued them together. I think this would be a great one to do with kids. You can have them decorate all different sorts of items to put in their hot cocoa. You could do some faux marshmallows, and then once it's time for the hot gluing, you could take that over. Just like I did with our Grinch ornament, I am using the baker's twine. I thought this kind of looked like a candy cane, so it definitely went with this sweet ornament. And I also added a little baker's twine bow to the front of our hot cocoa mug. I've talked about these wood slice ornaments a couple times in my previous Christmas videos, but I just think they're such a great deal. They come 3 in a pack in the Crafters Square section, and with this wood slice, I'm going to be turning it into a snowman. And to do this, I just grabbed some black and white paint. It looks like a black and white cookie here and kind of made me hungry, but we're going to be decorating it as a snowman. I grabbed some of this black and white buffalo check scrapbooking paper that I had, and this is going to be the brim of our snowman's hat, so I'm just trimming that a little bit down to size. And I love these wood cutouts from the Dollar Tree in the shape of snowflakes, so I went ahead and hot glued that to the top of our snowman's hat. Now I am moving on to our snowman face. I started off by taking a Sharpie rather than paint just so I could outline everything and figure out exactly how I wanted it. Then to fill in our circles and darken everything up a bit, I went in with my precision dotting tool that I got from the Dollar Tree and some black paint just to make everything more defined and a little bit darker. I also went ahead and outlined our snowman nose before going in with some orange paint to fill in that carrot nose. I also think these wood slices are the perfect size and shape to create a gingerbread man or gingerbread girl face ornament. In a previous video, I made a gingerbread girl face out of one of the galvanized bottle cap signs from the Dollar Tree, so I'll have that linked above for some inspiration. Moving on, I am creating a pom-pom hat ornament using an unlikely wood ornament from the Dollar Tree. I also have a video making a large standing version of one of these, so I'll have that linked above if you want to check it out. So for this, I am taking the egg wood ornaments from Dollar Tree that they come out with around Easter, and just using my miter shears that I use all the time, they're linked down below in my Amazon shop, I cut this egg in half so that I had it the shape of a hat. Then I went over to my scrapbooking paper and picked out a pattern that I liked and used just a glue stick to adhere the scrapbooking paper down onto the wood ornament. There are lots of different techniques to create yarn pom-poms, but this is the fastest and easiest one that I found. I grab some white yarn and wrap it around my hand a bunch of times, then grab another smaller piece of yarn and tie it in the center. Then I grab my scissors and cut the pom-pom, and you can see the snow cap hat is starting to take place. This is when I give my pom-pom a nice haircut, especially because this is going to be a smaller pom-pom. I'm really giving it a good haircut so that it will fit at the top of my ornament. For the brim of our hat, I just grabbed one of my paintbrushes. Yes, this is the watercolor paintbrush. Mine have been dirty and they are soaking when I was doing this video. So I just grabbed that one because it was the only clean one that I had, and some brown paint to make the brim of my hat. I did go in with that same white paint pen marker and write out Merry Xmas. And I also grabbed some more of those jingle bells off of the Dollar Tree garland and created a little faux holly in the bottom right-hand corner of my hat. I love using the tumbling tower blocks, or really Jenga blocks, from the children's toy section of the Dollar Tree in lots of my DIYs. So in this one, as well as the next one, we are going to be utilizing them. First up, I'm going to be making a Santa ornament. All you need are 3 Jenga blocks. I painted them white, more of a tan color, and then red at the top, and then hot glued them all together in a stack. I also grabbed some of my burlap ribbon that I have and wrapped that around the top red Jenga block. And then to create our Santa nose, I'm using a smaller wood bead, and I also hot glued a star up in the right-hand corner of our Santa. Then I moved on to making our Santa face, which really just meant adding some eyes to our Santa. This is also when I decided that I wanted to paint the star. I would recommend, if you know what color you want to paint it before you hot glue it down, but I wanted to kind of contrast with that natural wood color of the star. So I went ahead and painted it white before adding a jute hanger up at the top of our Santa ornament. Next up is the same kind of idea, but instead of Santa, we are going to be making a snowman. And instead of using some burlap ribbon, we're gonna change it up a little bit and use some more of that black and white buffalo check scrapbooking paper. So starting off very similar with our 3 blocks, painted one black and one white, and one I left natural because I decided to cover that with our paper. So I went ahead and hot glued that down before hot gluing all 3 of the blocks together. The dotting tool from the Dollar Tree, which you can find in the Crafter Square section, it's what I'm using right now, really comes in handy when you're trying to paint smaller spaces or smaller faces onto your different crafts. I really like them when I'm doing more detail work. After painting on my snowman's face, the last step, just like I did with Santa, was adding a jute hanger to the top of it so I can hang it off of my tree. Next up, I am repurposing one of the Dollar Tree ornaments and kind of just giving it a makeover. I really liked these wire tree ornaments that I found at Dollar Tree, but just wanted to change it up a little bit. They were also impossible to get out of the packaging. I swear I probably spent like 30 seconds trying to get it out of that. But once I did, I pulled the bell off of the bottom of this wire tree, and instead I'm going to be using the wood spools to give it a little bit more of a rustic look. Also, to cover up the metal aluminum looking star at the top, I grabbed one of the wood star stickers from the Dollar Tree, which already comes with this gold glitter on it. I ended up using both of the ornaments. They come 2 in a pack, and each of them are going to be similar but just a little bit different. So on this second one that I'm making, I'm doing the same thing at first, using that gold glitter star and hot gluing it down onto our wood spool. I'm adding some of this musical scrapbooking paper, and I wrapped it around the base of our spool, and then I also cut out a smaller piece and hot glued it to the front of the tree, kind of like a banner. To finish this second standing decor piece off, I wrapped some jute around the top to again add that rustic touch. I found these wood rings in the crafters section of the Dollar Tree and knew they would make perfect ornaments. I also used them on a very large ornament DIY that I did. I'll have that linked above. But for this one, I am taking some of this chenille yarn from the Dollar Tree and wrapping it halfway around our wood circle. I did use a bit of hot glue on both ends of this yarn just to secure everything into place. Next, I grabbed one of the snowflake wood cutouts, again, of course, from Dollar Tree. I really liked these this year. They had snowflakes, angels, gingerbread men, and I believe bells too. To create the hanger for our ornament, I'm using some more of that white yarn, but I also took a smaller wood bead and put that down at the bottom of our hanger before tying it off at the top. This is a very simple DIY, but I liked the Scandinavian style wood ornament. Next up, I'm going to show you how to make a super easy angel DIY ornament. This would be another great one to have your kids create. You can use all sorts of different colored yarn. Very similar to how I created our pom-pom for our snow cap ornament, I am wrapping the yarn around my hands, but this time instead of putting the second piece of yarn in the center or middle, I'm doing it more up at the top so we create the head of our angel and the body. To add the wings, I am using some of this gold ribbon that I had and using a bit of the wire part. I'm wrapping it just below our angel's head to kind of differentiate the head from the body. Then I made a super quick and easy bow using that gold ribbon and put it behind our angel, so that is going to be her wings. These wood angels were also the ones that I was talking about that the Dollar Tree came out with. Our 10th and final DIY ornament in today's video is a cardboard Christmas tree. I'm sure lots of you are getting packages in the mail, so just from one of those packages, I cut out a triangle, and then using that same chenille yarn from Dollar Tree, I am completely wrapping the cardboard triangle that we created. I went all the way around horizontally, and then I went in with another layer, kind of going in different directions. For the star on top of our tree, I'm going back to my handy dandy sheet of wood stickers from the Dollar Tree. I love the gold star, so I hot glued that up at the top. I was almost done with my ornament, but I wanted a little something extra, so I found this tube confetti in the Crafter Square section. So I am creating some faux garland on my yarn tree by placing down some hot glue and then going over the top with this green tube confetti, and then of course tapping off any of the extra onto a plate so that I can put it back in its packaging once I am done. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Until next time, keep searching, keep creating.